This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Whitmer here, and welcome into another edition of the Onside Kick right here on MVP Sports. I am joined, as I always am, with my partner in crime, JD the Don. How we doing today, JD? How we doing today?
Doing fantastic.
And people are probably saying, guys, is something wrong? Did you guys not do laundry? You have the same thing on that you had on in the last podcast. What's going on? Do we need to be worried? Do not be worried. JD and I were recording these full transparency. Ooh, probably making me burp a little bit. Full transparency, we're recording these last four in the weeks leading up to right before, as these are going live. I'm on vacation. I'm in Arizona right now, as you guys are watching these, not the patrons listening live, but you guys watching this after the fact. I'm in Arizona or Vegas, depending on the day, taking a little vacay. So we're kind of doubling up here on some of these days. And NFC South, AFC West, we're recording on the same day. Before we get into everything, though, let's go through a little bit of housekeeping, JD. Let's keep all of our affairs in order. Can't have everything all over the place. If you want to join the greatest community in the universe, go ahead and join that Discord, MVP Discord, down below in the description. You can also check out our Patreon page while you're there. You can check out BETUS, our sponsor. Thank you, BETUS, for sponsoring this podcast. You can also check out all of our socials, link in the description down below. Also, can hit that sub button, that like button. Check out our podcast, Apple Podcast and Spotify. And you can check us out on Rumble. If you want to hear JD say words like or yeah, you can check all of those out right now on Rumble. See that's it. Like YouTube, hey, beep, beep, beep. That's all you got to hear. Rumble, you got to hear JD say all the swears. Here's the thing that I'm interested about with the whole Rumble move. He may be listening right now. It's Dave. It's gonna, so for, especially with the draft room, for you guys who were fast break listeners back in the day, if you're draft room listeners now for the NBA side, Dave, or if you're live stream listeners, Dave is going to be in full form on Rumble.
Yeah.
It is going to be like, if you're thinking of like, you know, WWE, like the tribal chief Dave, maybe on YouTube, but you go over to Rumble and it's like his Rock the Final Boss version. Like it is just Dave at a whole new level. So yet again, go over to Rumble if you want to hear the podcast uncensored. But JD, talking about the AFC West in this podcast, and I hate to say it, but this I almost said this defense, this division, a whole lot of outside of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We do have things to talk about, but it might not be the most competitive division. But let's get into it with our first team. We're going to be looking at the Chargers first. Go Chargers, go. Bringing in a new coach, but what did they lose in free agency? They lose Asang Bassi, Nick Williams, Keelan Doss, Will Greer, Nick Vannett, Tanner Muse, Jalen Hawkins, Jalen Guyton, Will Clapp, Amon Biminga, had that problem in the Bears one. They also lost Eric Kendricks, Michael Davis, Austin Johnson, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, Kenneth Murray. They also lose Keenan Allen via trade. What do they bring in free agency? Zach Quarterman, Hayden Hurst, Bradley Bozeman, J.K. Dobbins, Poona Ford, Troy Dye, Denzel Perryman, Eaton Stick, DJ Chark, Christian Fulton, Bud Dupree, Gus Edwards, and Will Disley. JD, I will ask you. This is a team that people are very interested about. Jim Harbaugh back in the fold. He is going to be a head coach again. He left Michigan. He's now with the Chargers. I want to do one thing of fact checking. Their OC is going to be Greg Roman, who I believe Greg Roman, who was with Baltimore last year.
Yeah.
So he was with the 49ers from 2011 to 2014. I believe. Yep. So Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman, they reunite. They were together in San Fran, OC and head coach, just like they are now. We'll see how this experiment works. The rookies that they bring in, the big three, Ladd McConkey, who right now, Andrew McConkey, is going to be starting in that wide receiver. They bring in Brendan Rice, Joe Alt, Junior Colson on the linebacking side of things. They also bring in Cam Hart as well. JD, this is very simple. Justin Herbert, the biggest piece of this team. He's dealing with a little bit of a foot injury. A plantar fasciitis is what they call it. Foot injury, usually not good when you need your feet to stand on or run. They lose so many weapons. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Everett, especially on this offensive line. How optimistic are you in the Chargers this year? Do they have enough talent to skate by this year? Or will this be a true, hey, just let Harbaugh implement his system? It does not matter how this year goes. This year is about setting the culture, setting what I want, seeing minor improvements. Next year is when we add more pieces and try to build this team.
Yeah, I think next year is really the year that they should be unquestionably a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
This year, if they want to be good, or if they are their best selves, it'll be because Harbaugh has implemented his running system from Michigan, because they have the running backs to be good. And obviously Herbert's a great quarterback, but I mean, they got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and Isaiah Spiller, who those three running backs are pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, and now they got the offensive line to help the run game improve. Obviously, Rashawn Slater, very good. Zion Johnson is a good young guard. Bradley Bozeman is that veteran center. And then sure, yeah, you could upgrade Trey Pipkins, the right guard, but then you also have a fantastic rookie in Joe Alt. So now you should be able to run the ball. That should be they're all athletic enough linemen to where running the ball shouldn't be a problem. Why the wide receiver room? That's where there's more questions, because again, I'm not high on Ladd McConkey. I will probably be wrong about him, but
Ladd or Andrew?
both.
Also, JD, I will say a little production note. I'm gonna need you to move your microphone just a little bit closer to your face.
Is that good?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Because I'm sitting here fondling the weird word, fidgeting with the Streamlabs, and I'm like, man, he seems really like far away. And then I looked, and I'm like, oh, he took his headset off to go to the bathroom in between these podcasts and didn't put his microphone placement back.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. I was like, he sounds so quiet compared to me. But go ahead. You were talking about Andrew McConkey.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be wrong. He probably will be pretty good for the Chargers. But yeah, I mean, they don't have depth. I mean, Quentin Johnston is looking to improve upon a terrible rookie season. He still has potential to be what people thought he was going to be coming out of TCU. But and I think that honestly is going to be the, what's the word I'm looking for here? The
Linchpin.
the ultimate, the linchpin. is if Quentin Johnson can take over from Josh Palmer to be that I guess number one slash
Mm-hmm.
number two wide receiver,
Yeah.
then I think that's going to be key because he gives the Chargers a threat that they don't currently have with him not starting, and
Mm-hmm.
that is a jump ball wide receiver.
Yeah.
So if he can develop and become that, then that just opens them up for even more because Herbert, his ball placement is honestly
Mm-hmm.
probably one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
He can make any throw you want.
Well, and
So
also it's like this injury where Harbaugh right now is saying no problem, no problem. How lingering is this foot injury going to be? Is it
yeah,
going to end it like I'm not going to for sure say one thing or the other, obviously, but like this foot injury could come back, could be nothing, could be something to where it's like
yeah,
when it's something as important as the feet, when you're a quarterback and you're on your feet, or if you're running, pardon me, it's pretty important.
yeah, yeah. No, exactly. I mean, I just if honestly like if Harbaugh's saying it's not really that big of a
Mm-hmm.
deal, I'm just not going to put any mind to it until there's a reason to be worried about it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think the offense should be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my again with the Chargers, like I've been doing for all these, my biggest worry out of the offense and defense is the defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have tons of holes still that need to be filled, and that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of their problem last year. They couldn't
Yeah.
stop a nosebleed. Um,
I don't.
obviously,
I
you
don't
have,
think it. I don't think it's going to change much.
yeah. I mean, Joey Bosa, he's hurt, but I don't know how bad it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a hand injury, so I doubt it's that bad.
Okay.
But yeah, he's obviously the key. You still have Khalil Mack, but he's a year older. So how much more does he have left in the tank? Asante Samuel is a good cornerback. Derwin James is a very good safety, and you still have you have Bud Dupree, who
Mm-hmm.
is a good rotational edge rusher. But when you look at their defensive line,
Uh-huh.
that's where the questions really kind of
Present
that's where
themselves.
they are. Yeah, you have Agbana, who's your nose tackle,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he's okay. And then you have Puna Ford for your defense, one of your defensive ends,
Mm-hmm.
and you have Morgan Fox as your other one. So both those positions need to be upgraded, and I think you're not going to be able to generate a tons of pressure, um, because they're the two weak
Mm-hmm.
points. But obviously, you can hope that Khalil Mack continues to be a very good player, and him and Joey Bosa are enough to kind of
Mm-hmm.
carry that full load. But yeah,
Pause.
I think, pardon?
I said pause.
Oh, um, but yeah, I think this team is just gonna get ran. Like I don't see them stopping anything this year. Really, like I mean, I feel bad for their secondary because their secondary isn't that bad,
Mm-hmm.
but with not being able to generate any pressure, they're gonna get cooked. I feel like most games.
Here's another thing I'm looking at, and like while I'm listening to you talk, it kind of reminded me of this of the last time we saw Jim Harbaugh in the league. He was with the 49ers. He
Yeah,
had a 13-3 season his first year, lost in the NFC Championship game to the Giants. Next year, 2012, 11-4-1, lost in the Super Bowl to his brother John.
yeah,
2013, he had a 12-4 season, lost in the NFC Championship game to the Steelers. I believe that was the one where it was Sherman over Crabtree, and it was the Richard Sherman clapping back on the 49ers after that game. Then he had an 8-8 year, and then he was gone. He's going to Michigan. Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast. If I was a Charger fan, I don't think Charger fans are like this, but I'm just going to say it. I'm not expecting Jim Harbaugh to have a 13-3 season like he did his first time, because I look at that Niner team, that 2011 Niner team that he was coming into. Alex Smith was their quarterback. They had also just drafted Colin Kaepernick as well. He was a draftee of Harbaugh coming in. So Alex Smith was your starter. Your starting running back was, I don't know, a guy, you might have heard of him, Frank Gore. His son now is playing in Buffalo. That doesn't make me feel old at all. Michael Crabtree and Ted Ginn Jr. were your 1-2 wide receivers. Vernon Davis and Delanie Walker were your tight ends. You had a defense that had Navarro Bowman on it, Eldon Smith, Patrick Willis. You also had Dante Whitner, CJ Spillman, Deshaun Golston, David Akers was their kid. Like, this team was stacked, dude. This wasn't even their final form. They went to the Super Bowl a year later, but like, this team was stacked. Absolutely stacked. And I look at it and I go, oh yeah, I'm sorry, Mike Iupati on that offensive line. One of the best names in football, Iupati. Joe Staley also. This team, the Niners were a team. They had the team. They needed the coach to elevate them. Mike Singletary was not that coach. Jim Harbaugh stepped in, elevated them. This Chargers team is not that. Now, if you still had Austin Eckler, if you still had Keenan Allen, if you still had Mike Williams, I'd be like, okay, you're close. You're like a budget store version. This team is nothing like that.
No.
This is a full rebuild from pretty much the bottom. You're starting from the bottom. Will you get there? Is basically what you're asking yourself. So it's a completely like different process than what we've seen Jim Harbaugh do before. Now, I do like him and Roman coming back, getting the band together. They had success in the past. I think Air Bear will have success in their system. But also, you have a Charger team that pretty much since 2017, 9-7 didn't make the playoffs. 12-4, they lose in the divisional round. 5-11, 7-9, 9-8 don't make the playoffs. 10-7 in 2022, they're leading by so much, and then come back and lose or get come back on by Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, and then 5-12. Like, this team, pretty much, I could go further than that. Like, yeah, they had their playoff runs in 2006 to 2008 with Phillip Rivers, where they just kept losing and losing and losing with Norv Turner and Marty Schottenheimer. But, like, this team is used to either not making the playoffs or making the playoffs and then losing. That I get why Charger fans would want to be hopeful for this year. I just don't think this is your year, dog.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I get you're going to be hopeful because you have Herbert as your quarterback, but
unless he gets injured, unless that injury takes him out.
Yeah, unless the injury takes him out. But I mean, yeah, even again, as much as I clown on Herbert because of Charger fans,
Quentin Johnson needs to, like you said, needs to step up too.
Yeah, but again, like, I'm just gonna say this about Herbert. I mean, if he wasn't able to elevate that team to make at least the playoffs when they were Super Bowl favorites at points or Super Bowl contenders,
you just don't like Charger. Don't give the air quotes because you just don't like Charger fans because you have a vendetta against them.
Am I telling lies though? They were supposed to win the Super Bowl, and Herbert could even lead them to make the playoffs.
They were not going to win the Super Bowl, and you know it.
The year that they got Khalil Mack, people are like, oh my God, this is the team to take over from the Chiefs. Oh my God, Herbert's the best quarterback.
Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals. Those are the top dogs in the AFC until
I'm not
proven
talking
otherwise.
about this year. I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about like 3 years ago.
I know,
2
but
years
still,
ago.
okay. I'm sorry. Chiefs, Bengals, like it's still the same teams. Like,
Yeah,
and let's be honest, it's the Chiefs until proven wrong.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Denver Broncos. This is a team. Let's see. What did they lose? So they are losing Mike Purcell. They're losing Fabian Moreau, Russell Wilson, Chris Manhertz. They lose Jonathan Harris, Adam Topman. No, Adam Topman's still there. Pardon me. Josie Jewell, Loyal Cushman, and then that's it. Loyal Cushionberry? No, Cushionberry. I said Cushman. Cushionberry. Yeah, I said the last name wrong. It's Cushionberry. They bring in Calvin Throckmorton, best name ever. Lil Jordan Humphrey stays. They bring in Levi Wallace, Matt Pert. They keep Justin Sternad. Angela Blackson comes in. Corey Burton, Malcolm Roach, Adam. Okay, I said Gila. This is a train wreck, JD. I'm just gonna get through it. Adam Tortman, he stays. Josh Reynolds comes over from Detroit. Brandon Jones comes over from Miami. Biggest draft pick for them? They got 2 in my mind. Bo Nix, starting quarterback. Troy Franklin, who will be him at the wide receiver position. This Bronco team, though, they didn't add enough for this is the year where it's like, let's just see what Bo Nix has got. Let him start all year. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. You're probably not going to be good. Just let Bo start, see what Bo knows, and let's go from here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a season with 0 expectations. Besides the growth from your young players.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, obviously Sean Payton's gonna want to win because that's just the type of guy he is. But
and they were 8-9 last year.
Yeah, but I still don't really think besides your draft picks, I still don't really think you did enough to improve your team. So I could kind of see you maybe hovering around that same record line. But yeah, I just think, I mean, Bo Nix, again, I don't know, I can't remember if you were very high on him, but I know I wasn't.
I was mid on him. However, I have learned something about Bo Nix, and JD, if you haven't, you should probably look at like a Bo Nix autograph. He has the worst autograph I've ever seen, JD.
Have you seen one in person?
Yes. Well, my new job, I'm seeing autographs all the time now with sports memorabilia. He has the worst worst signature I have ever seen.
Is he like a Keon Coleman where he doesn't know what his signature is?
No. Keon Coleman, give the kid a break. But Bo Nix, it doesn't even look like Bo Nix. And it's the easiest name. You have a B and an X in your name. How do you not it doesn't even look like he's got the X in the signature.
Really?
It is, dude, Google it. It is so bad. So bad. Which is weird because Patrick Surtain II, who is on his team, I think Patrick needs to pull him aside and, hey, we're going to learn how to sign an auto because Patrick Surtain, his is pristine. Bo Nix's auto sucks, and he needs to learn how to sign a better auto, or maybe just care about the auto. Maybe that's it. But, I think Bo Nix is okay. He's all right.
Yeah.
I'm higher on Troy Franklin than I was Bo Nix, but it is nice that they paired those two together. Hey, you were teammates in college. We're hoping that you guys can have that chemistry and hit the ground running in the NFL. The problem is, I don't know if with how bad Russell Wilson was last year, I don't know if Bo Nix will be as good as Russell Wilson was, though. Because it's like, Russell Wilson was bad, Broncos country, let's ride. But Bo Nix isn't to that level yet. If it makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
You lose Jerry Jeudy. He's now in Cleveland.
But did you ever really have Jerry Jeudy?
you had him more than you do now.
Maybe, but not by much.
Like
But
right now, Sutton Reynolds and Marvin Mims are the listed top 3 starters for wide receiver. I think by the end of the year, Troy Franklin jumps in there. Maybe it's a
yeah,
Mims that gets
well,
busted out. Reynolds maybe moves to the slot. Franklin, or maybe even put Franklin in the slot and let him roam.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Franklin definitely cracks at least the
Because
slot.
I will say this to quote the memes, Troy Franklin, he's fast as boy.
Yeah,
He is.
but
He is.
but yeah. So the reason why though, like I said, even though I wasn't that high on Bo Nix, and I
Mm-hmm.
still don't know, but everything coming out of camp and in the preseason game he played in, he was
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, like there is I would say like about a 50% chance that
Mm-hmm.
he is better than Russell Wilson is now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
So
and
so if you had to pick Russell Wilson, last year's Russell Wilson, or rookie Bo Nix, you'd take rookie Bo Nix
yes,
on performance alone. Who's the better quarterback?
yeah. Just
Not off
performance
of on
alone.
development, anything like that.
No,
Just here it is.
yeah, I would take the chance on rookie Bo next
Mm-hmm.
because he's the unknown commodity. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously there's a chance he's worse, but
Mm-hmm.
there's also a chance he's better. You know what Russell Wilson was,
Okay.
and it wasn't very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so and then that being said, if Bo Nix is better, like I said, since this team didn't really get worse, and I know we'll touch on
Mm-hmm.
the other teams, but there is a chance that Denver has a better record this year than last year,
You
if
think so?
just by Bo Nix getting better.
Their strength of schedule is they have the 8th toughest schedule this year, just so you know.
Oof.
The Chargers have the 2nd easiest.
How did they get as a
Because they're a
third
last
place team?
place
How did they?
team.
No, I'm talking about but
The
the Broncos
Broncos
were yeah, they got a third place schedule, but how does that equivalent to
equivalent. Um,
yeah.
so let's see. I'll pull up the Chargers so I can see common opponents. So they're playing their own division. That's 6 games. They have. Let's see. Um, so the let's see the West. Do they play the West? So they're playing their division, the AFC North, and then the NFC, and then the NFC South. So that means, and I'm going to try to find the. So while the Broncos are playing the Jets in New York, the Chargers get New England in New England.
Oh yeah, that's pretty easy.
While the Chargers get Arizona in Arizona, the Broncos get Seattle in Seattle week 1.
Okay.
And then while what's that last opponent? I'm looking. Oh. And while the Broncos get Indianapolis week 15, the Chargers get where are they? Tennessee week 10.
Okay.
So Colts better than Tennessee, Seattle better than Arizona, and then Jets better than New England.
Yeah.
I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're like, oof, oof.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough sledding for Broncos country.
They ain't gonna be that. See, to me, I think if they end with a 9-8 record, that's a win for them.
Yeah, I kind of take back what I said. Yeah, if they end with an 8-9 or 9-8 record, season success.
Because out of just this division alone, Chargers have the easiest schedule. Then you have the Chiefs with the 12th easiest schedule in the league, 2nd easiest in the division. Raiders with the 24th overall easiest schedule, third in the division, and then Broncos with the 25th overall and the hardest schedule in the division.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles, though, sometimes, right? Like,
Yeah.
Broncos fans, though, it's all about improvement. And you want to see what like, this is the guy that Sean Payton wanted, too. We didn't mention that. This is the guy Sean Payton wanted. How are they going to do? Sean Payton, you got your guy. We need to, like, yes, it's the rookie year. It's the first, like, base level. But let's see. Let's see what you got in them. Like, these teams, JD, it's so hard. Like, Chargers, Broncos, now even the Raiders, who we're talking about next. Like, I want to say it's almost hard to talk about these teams at this point. And the reason why, it's like, I'll full disclosure it. For you, a fan out there of the Broncos or the Chargers or the Raiders, you're looking at JD and I to, like, hey, build you up. And sometimes it's like, hey, dog, this ain't going to go your way. Like, let's be completely honest, JD. Completely honest. Chiefs are going to win this division. I think this is the only division out of all. Usually we do, well, I don't want to tip my pitch and I don't want to give. The Chiefs are going to win this division.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Like, the Chiefs are winning this division. Everyone else is just fighting for second.
Exactly.
The question, I will ask this after we get to the Raiders. So, the Raiders, what do they lose or what do they bring in coming into this year? So, what they lose is Jesper Horsted, Curtis Bolton, Brandon Parker, DeAndre Carter, Greg Van Rooten, Jerry Tillery, Austin Hooper, Jimmy Garoppolo, Amick Robinson, Jermaine Illuminor?
Yeah, Illuminor.
Belial Nichols, and Josh Jacobs. What do they bring in via free agency? Let me go ahead and find them. Click on them. They bring in Nathan Peterman, the Peterman at quarterback. Kalen Doss, Jalen Guyton, Michael Gallup, Alexander Madison, Andres Pete, Cody Whitehair, Harrison Bryant, Garner Minshew, Christian Wilkins. Here's the question I have for this team. They also, via the draft, their biggest draft pick, two of their biggest draft picks, I'll say, Brocky Bowers on the offensive side, Tommy Eichenberg, the Ohio State University on the defensive side.
Wait, and JPJ.
Go ahead, and JPJ.
Yeah, we like him. He's going to start.
we like him. He's going to start. Here's my question for this team, or I'll say for the Chargers, the Broncos, and even the Raiders. I think if I had to put my money on it, if I had to, not saying I will, but if I had to, the Raiders would be the team that I would put my money on to do this. But my question is that I was going to lead with here. Out of the Chargers, the Broncos, the Raiders, Chiefs are going to win this division. Do any of these other teams make the playoffs?
No.
JD, no, not a chance.
Like, again, like Ricky said, I know people kind of look to us sometimes to, like, prop them up.
You look to any of these podcasts to be positive about your team.
Because before I was on MVP, it was kind of the same deal when I used to watch, like, MVP. And yeah, when the people don't prop your team up, it's kind of a harsh reality, and sometimes you say some things and whatever. But
say some things, whatever.
Yeah, but then the reality is, like, with the Raiders, man, you got Minshew, who's a cool backup, but I mean, he's your starter, probably shouldn't be. And then you have Aiden O'Connell, who again is not really a starting quarterback or a starting caliber quarterback. So when you have two potential backup quarterbacks starting for you,
yeah,
I mean, that kind of says something. You're kind of tough sledding, especially when you have the Chiefs, and you're in the AFC,
Mm-hmm.
because the AFC is loaded. It's loaded, and if you're not going to be a divisional winner, then I mean it's going to be really tough for you to get into the playoffs, especially with a team like the Raiders.
Now, here's a question that I have, and it's kind of a dual-sided question here. Of number one is I'm trying to think here. Never mind. The question. I'm gonna flip the question because I'm an idiot and it already happened. Antonio Pierce won the job basically last year. Josh McDaniels was fired. Went 3-5, got fired. Antonio Pierce comes in. Let's see, They started off 3-5. Since Antonio Pierce was there, they went 5-4. So a winning record with AP at the head coaching position compared to Joshy McDaniels. Does that bode any confidence for this season if you're a Raider fan that, hey, Antonio Pierce won this job by what he did after McDaniels was fired, to say, hey, this was a 3-5 team when I took over. We ended not positive at the end of the year, but I had a positive record with this team. Antonio Pierce being the head coach, is that something that Raider fans can at least hang their hat on? Of like, hey, at least we have a head coach that's going to get these boys ready to play. And this year could be the band of misfit season of like, hey, we might not be the best team, but we're going to go out there, give it everything we got any given Sunday, hopefully get ourselves into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something they can hang their hat on. McDaniels was a horrible coach. He was dog
I was
water.
going to say, my second question, why do people keep trying to give him head coaching jobs? The Colts tried to do it. The Raiders actually did it. Like, when are we going to understand that Josh McDaniels is not head coach material?
No, and especially with that, what was that news that
He's
came
a Tom
out
Brady merchant.
Yeah, but also there was the news that we talked about yesterday
The
where
CJ
he
Stroud.
he didn't want Stroud, so somehow the coach trumps the general manager.
How does that happen? Where the GM goes, yo, I got a deal in place, and the coach goes, nah, that.
yeah, exactly. Like nah, fam, we good out here.
Nah, fam, we good. We Gucci.
Yeah,
We Gucci.
but
We Gucci. I got my baggage coming, and it Louis, and then Jimmy G shows up, and it's from Temu. He was trying to get his Louis Vuitton, but he got it off of Temu.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like something positive. Again, how much of a difference is it going to make?
Mm-hmm.
That's we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, clearly, because that team was in absolute turmoil when McDaniels got fired,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're able to bring it all back together, ring out a couple wins, and they did. They did look better.
I forgot Josh McDaniels was also the head coach of the Broncos. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for Tim Tebow, he would have never won a playoff game.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
How does this guy keep getting head coaching jobs, JD?
He's smart mind, Ricky.
No, he's a like I said, he's a Tom Brady merchant.
Yeah.
He has 6 Super Bowls because of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Like, come on. Like, whatever. He's in the past. He's not even got an NFL gig right now. I don't get how teams could be this stupid to give him head coaching jobs. It would drive Mark crazy on the Onside Kick 1.0 when teams would even think about him for the job. But I think if I had to put money, like I said, I'll say it again, in the team getting second place and making the playoffs in this division, it would be the Raiders. Don't have a rookie quarterback. They have a fine head coach, I'll say. They have a head coach that isn't going to be the best X's and O's, but he's going to get to me, Antonio Pierce, and tell me if this is me hyping him up too much. He's like the Dan Campbell of the AFC. Or the budget Dan Campbell of the AFC.
Yeah, I'd say budget Dan Campbell.
He'll get the boys fired up to play, but he might not be. And I'm not slighting Dan Campbell with saying, oh, not the best X's and O's. But Dan Campbell's a motivator. He gets you to want to run through a brick wall for you or for him. And that's what I think AP has the same strength. Is he can get you, hey, I want to run through that brick wall for you, coach. I will do anything for you.
No, you nailed it. For myself though, I mean, again, we have a video coming out about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not think this team will be second in the division. But because you said veteran quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if they're veteran. I think they're
Dog
not.
water.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I don't think Minshew's dog water.
I like Garner, dude. See, here's the thing, too. I feel like Garner Minshew is the perfect quarterback right now for AP because he's a dog, dude. He is a dog with a W.
For sure. I mean, again, he's a very good backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see him being a good starter for this team, especially this team that lacks talent. I mean, I know we didn't really
except
touch
for
on
Devontae
it.
Adams.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We didn't really touch on their weapons, but I mean, sure, you had Jacoby Myers who had a good season last year. Thank you for being my fantasy player of the year. You have Devontae Adams who again I feel like each week he's something different with the Raiders. One week he wants to get traded, next week he's okay, and so we'll see how this season goes for him. And then you got Zamir White as your starting running back, so that's okay. And then now you have a dual tight end threat, Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, two young tight ends. I mean, I really like Michael Mayer, and I'm hoping he's not going to be the new Kyle Pitts of just getting absolutely screwed from the team he's on.
Dogged on.
Yeah, because I mean, hey, there's a home in Cincinnati if the Raiders want to trade him. But
there's a home in Cincinnati if the Raiders want to trade him.
Yeah, I'll take Michael Mayer.
Don't think that's gonna happen, dog. Don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, they got some weapons. It's just I don't think they have the quarterback.
All right, well, moving on. Last team we get to talk about in the division, probably the only playoff team from this division, the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do they lose? Well, they lose LaMichael Pirine. He's in Pittsburgh. They lose Jordy Fortson. He's in Miami. They lose MVS. He's now in Buffalo. Mike Edwards is in Buffalo. Willie Gay Jr. is in New Orleans. Tommy Townsend is in Houston. Nick Allegretti, ILL, is in Washington. Ty Summers is in Detroit. Ty Summers is Jacksonville. Leave that alone. Who do they bring in? Not a lot. They bring in Irv Smith from the Bengals. You're happy, JD, for that. Carson Wentz to be a backup from the Rams. Marquise Hollywood Brown from the Cardinals. That's the only free agent acquisitions they made. So they got Hollywood Brown. They also draft two big draft picks that you and I like, who are going to start right away.
Are you seeing the one that
left tackle Kingsley Satamaya? Or is it? I gotta get the old tongue working again. Saumatai.
Yeah,
Kingsley Saumatai.
We had fun with him.
It's gonna be their left tackle, and then the boy Xavier Worthy.
Yep.
One of the fastest receivers in this draft class, and the Chiefs just get him, trade up for him, get him. This is a team. They also have punter Matt Arazia cleared of his charges. He's now clear to play some football. My boy Harrison Butker kicking for him. JD, this is a team where it's like, it's good to be on top, right? It's good to be on top. We don't have to make many changes because, do we still have Patrick Mahomes? Check. Do we still have Isaiah Pacheco? Check. Do we still have Travis Kelce? Regrettably, check, because that means Tay-Tay's still in the building. Not regrettably because of his skill. Regrettably because now I have to look at Taylor Swift for about 8 games. Well, not even 8 games. She's even at the away games. 2. I get to look at her because the NFL is dying and needs. That's besides the point. They still have Sky Moore. They still have their defense. Chris Jones is on this team. JD, this is a team where I get to ask one question and one question alone because this is the team that is the probably up there to be the only team to ask this. They gonna make the Super Bowl again? This is the only team, right? That we could just ask, are they just going to make the Super Bowl again? Because it seems like they just do it. Like Patrick Mahomes is like SpongeBob. Want to see me do it again?
Yeah. I mean,
and it hurts you. It hurts you. I know it.
That's what I'm saying. Realistically.
Unless Joey B's healthy, then he doesn't get to do it again.
I mean, we'll see. I will say this because I still need to think about this before we do our predictions. They're obviously in contention. At the very least, I see them making the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And realistically, it's because I'm done doubting them. I mean,
I'm done doubting them
because I feel like in each of the last 3 off seasons, they have gotten significantly worse. And what have they done? They've messed around and won back-to-back Super Bowls. So, I mean, I'm done thinking that okay, this is the year that maybe they'll get on the divisional round. No. So yeah, I mean they would definitely be the favorite to win the Super Bowl again, but I'm not going to give my prediction on that yet. I got to think about it.
So they are until proven otherwise. That's kind of the thing that I look at. I'm with you. Haven't done my official predictions yet. I haven't even, so I usually go through like the full schedule, win, loss, all the way through. I have not done that yet. I'll be honest, in the AFC, I think it's a 3-dog race, though. Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, all healthy. Like, all healthy, those are the 3 teams that I think will have a shot at the Super Bowl, but the Chiefs got to be number 1. Like,
yeah.
As long as Patrick Mahomes can go out there and play, I'm not even going to say healthy. As long as he's on the field, JD, this team has a chance at the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you this, if they do make the Super Bowl, I don't think there's a team in the NFC that can beat them.
No. I mean, maybe the Niners, but...
No, proven otherwise.
Yeah.
They lost last year. Because Kyle Shanahan doesn't know how to use CMC for a whole game.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan also doesn't know how to tell his players what the overtime rules were. Yeah, remember that one? Remember that? I'll ask you this when it comes to the Chiefs. Is it bad that the AFC Championship game is more of a Super Bowl than the actual Super Bowl? Because I'll be honest, I don't think there's a team in the NFC that beats the Ravens or the Bengals either.
Well, no, exactly. Like if you look at the last, I would say that like the last 3 division or AFC Championship games have been good. The Bengals had that big comeback to make it back to the Super Bowl for the first time in like 50 or 40 years or whatever, 30 years. And then you have the Chiefs getting revenge, beating the Bengals, making it to the Super Bowl, and then last year was what, Ravens Chiefs? And and then if I remember, I mean, pretty sure the Ravens got dog walked, but which, some teams just aren't cut out for the spotlight like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, exactly. And I mean, it's a shame because the Super Bowls are supposed to be great. And I mean, yeah, last year's Super Bowl, obviously it was a good game, but realistically, I mean, I think everyone kind of knew like the AFC just has the better teams, they have the better quarterbacks, and it just it kills the momentum because it's kind of like like the earlier in the playoffs is where you get the best matchups, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be the Super Bowl should be always the best matchup.
So I got another question to kind of ask you. So I'm looking here. 7 for him. 3 right now for him. Let's see. We're about 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 8 years into there. He played for about... So here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, right? He has 3 Super Bowls. 8 years in the league. Tom Brady played for 22 years. 2000 to 2022, played 22 years in the league. Mahomes, if Mahomes plays 22 years in the league, he's not even halfway to there. I hear this a lot at work. So I'm just going to say this. At work, manager of my team is a big old Chiefs fan. Big old Patrick Mahomes fan. I hear...
bandwagon?
No, like he worked in Missouri, like went to Mizzou. He's a Chiefs fan. I hear a lot at work how Patrick Mahomes, when it's all said and done, will be the GOAT in the NFL. I know this is early, but I'm going to ask you because I hear it a lot. I kind of agree with it, though. It's Patrick Mahomes, like, if he keeps this up, he's gonna, like, Tom Brady will be the, like, it'll be what we all thought LeBron was gonna do in the NBA. Patrick Mahomes will actually do, no?
Yeah,
you smile, but it's true. Like in the NBA, maybe it's because the fandoms are different. The NBA, there's not a clear, like, it's not like, oh man, LeBron's the GOAT. But in the NFL, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh man, Patrick Mahomes, if he keeps this up, he's going to be the GOAT.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, I'm a Tom Brady guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people hate him, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be unbiased. Of course, I can see Mahomes topping Brady because he already has what, 3 Super Bowls, and he's only been in the league for what, like 5 years, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like 6 years, I think. And yeah, if he plays for 20 years, I mean, there's a very realistic chance with the way that the NFL is now that he walks away with 8 Super Bowls, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's absurd to think about. Because what, Brady walked away with 6?
7.
7.
He got one with
yeah.
Tampa on the way out.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, there's a chance that Mahomes has that beat and then still continues to play for 5 seasons after.
Mm-hmm. Here's the only thing that I'm thinking of, and yet again, I think this will come into it too, right? So I just did the quick math just on career touchdowns and career yards. So Mahomes through 8 years, if he averages the same amount, like if his average of 8 years, so I took his total, divided by 8, and then times it by 22. If he keeps his same average for yards, he will end 3rd all time with 78,000, where Brady had 89,000 yards.
Dang.
Yeah, he had 89,214 yards in his career. If Mahomes keeps his same average for touchdowns, he'll have about 602, which will put him in 2nd. But Brady had 649 career touchdowns.
That's actually absurd.
And like,
the
that
conversation is still going to be close. I didn't even think it was going to be close.
Because here's the things NFL record wise that Brady has that I think Mahomes will have to take some of these away to be the GOAT. Yeah. He's got most career wins by a quarterback, 251. Most career completions at 7,753 by a quarterback. Most passing attempts in his career at 12,050. Touchdowns, like I said. Yards, like I said. Passing completions in a season, 490. That was his last year in 2020. Longest touchdown pass, 99 yards. It's tied. Longest touchdown pass. Career playoff quarterback wins, 35. Career playoff passing yards, 13,400. Career passing touchdowns, 88.
Yeah, people that try to discredit Brady, y'all are just dumb, if we're being honest, because like that's absurd. Those are absurd numbers, but I do agree. Mahomes will have to take away some of them, and I believe he will. Like I could see him maybe getting more playoff wins, um, touchdowns.
So
Again, who knows
touchdowns,
how this
he's at
goes?
41.
Yeah,
So touchdowns, let's see. He has right now 41 career touchdowns in the postseason.
okay.
Divide that by 6. He's averaging about 6 to 8 in a playoff.
Yeah,
Times that by let's see, 21, because he didn't make the playoffs his rookie year because that was when they were bad.
yeah.
That means he'll be at 143, 144 career passing touchdowns, which would put him well over Brady. If he averages about 6, even just 6 to 7 touchdowns a playoff, if he plays 22 years, he will beat Brady.
Yeah.
With the playoffs. When it comes to playoff yards, he has 5,135. Divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times 21. If he averages the same amount he's been averaging, it'll put him just under 18,000, which if he keeps playing like he does in the playoffs, he will blow Tom Brady's playoff numbers out of the water.
Yeah.
Just blow him completely out of the water. It's just in the regular season, is he gonna blow Tom Brady's numbers out of the water? Pause. I paused at the wrong spot, dude. I was well aware. I'm like, oh, it's a weird pause. It's a weird place to pause. How many wins is he attributed with? I gotta see now. So let's see. Mahomes right now. Let's see. He's got to be on this list. Yeah, Mahomes right now has 74 career wins. So he is well behind Tom Brady. So 251 minus 74. He's 117, or not 117, 177 behind. So they play 17 games a season, right?
Yeah.
That's not the number I'm looking for. So he's already played 8 years. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 7 years. This will be the 8th year. So 7 years he's played. 22 minus 7 would be 15. So if he plays 15 more seasons, he needs to average 12 wins a year in order to break Tom Brady's career wins.
It's doable.
Is it funny that it's doable because of how good that team is? Now, playoff wins. Does Tom Brady have that record? No. Mahomes leads active players with 15 playoff wins already.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude. 15 playoff wins? Is it weird that like this is the only team in these? Yeah, he has 15 playoff wins. Brady had 35. So let's see, 35 minus 15, he's 20 away. If he plays 15 years and they make the playoff every year, he has to win just 2 games. Like if they keep winning Super Bowls, he's definitely gonna break. I'll be honest, this year he'll break Montana. No, Montana's at 16 playoff wins.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna they're not gonna one and done it, you know. He's not gonna get to 16. They'll win 2, right? Well, if they win 2, they're in the. It depends on. Probably not gonna be a wild card team. So if they're not a wild card team, if they make the Super Bowl, he beats Joe Montana, best linebacker ever to play. You know what I'm saying? Joe Montana.
Yeah.
I didn't say Joe Montana. I said Joe Montana. Yeah, this last year he just passed up Manning, Elway, Bradshaw was at 14, Favre, Roethlisberger was at 13.
Dang, dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah, because they had three playoff games this last year. Divisional, the second round, the conference, and then the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he was at 12. He passed He tied Favre and Roethlisberger, then passed him. Tied Manning, Elway, Bradshaw, and now sits third for most playoffs. Guess who's second in playoff wins out of active players? Active right now in the league.
I don't know.
He was injured last year.
Burrow?
He didn't play a single. Well, he played a snap.
Oh, Rodgers.
Rodgers has 11, tied with Staubach and Aiken. Or Aikman.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't like my Burrow answer because I'm like, he has like 5, and I'm like, there's no way that's the record or second, I guess.
Nah, it's our boy A-Raj. But I'm gonna ask you, JD, anything else you need to say about this division before we wrap it up? I will say this, hardest division to talk about, just because 3 of the teams are. It's all about, hey, what's the future like? And then there's the king of the West, who just sits there on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, just watching the peasants mop up under them.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, like if you're a Chiefs fan, like, dude, you're just like, all right, let's just get through the season healthy, and that's that.
So I do have one last question before we wrap this up, and this has to do with the next podcast we record will be the NFC West podcast. Now, in real time, with you guys watching, it's probably already happened. But I'm going to ask you this live on the air, JD. When we record the NFC West podcast tomorrow, we're recording it in real time. Will we be able to talk about a Brandon Ayuk trade, or will we be talking hypotheticals?
I'm going to say hypothetical.
There's a deal. Right now, we're sitting in a world where there is a deal in place. We just got to wait for it to be accepted. Will he be a Steeler? We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Well,
Good or bad?
Exactly. Tune in.
You went to answer and you went.
Yeah.
No, I'm
tune
not.
in.
But
tune in.
That's gonna do it for the Onside Kick. Thank you guys for everything. And here's what I want: if you're a fan of the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders,
good luck.
I really. JD just popping in with good luck. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Chiefs fans also can tune in and chime in, but I'm really curious about the other 3. Of what here's my question to you guys. What do you guys think will be a successful season? Not playoffs. Playoffs is pie in the sky. Like, if you don't make the playoffs, what is a successful season for you guys? Obviously, Chief fans, I know. Successful season is you're looking to win the Super Bowl again. Duh. But the other 3, what's a successful season to you? Hit that sub button, that like button. Join the MVP Discord if you're not in it already. Greatest community in the universe. Check out our sponsor, BETUS, and all of our links, our Patreon, our socials, Rumble page, everything down below in the description. JD, want to thank you for another great podcast. We got 2 to go until we're back in the normal. This is the time where we're like, oh, previews and everything's great. Just a couple more weeks and we're back to football, week in, week out. Thank you guys for everything you do. JD, thank you again for what you do. We'll see you guys in a couple days with the NFC West, but as always, have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.